broad group of friends potentially joining us. We've got some of our Resilience Collaborative graduates from Cohort 1 and Cohort 2. We have some of our steering group members, some of whom are also graduates from Cohort 1 or Cohort 2. Some of our funders are joining or will be joining us. And then also just some friends from the community who have been hearing about the work that we're doing and want to learn a little bit more, and we want to engage them. So welcome to everybody. And not surprisingly, we are going to start with just a few moments to ground us with a little bit of soft belly breathing that Lorraine Meixter is going to lead for us. All right. And Lorraine is with Medtronic Foundation, and you went through Cohort 1, right?
Correct. Yes.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Anne-Marie, and thanks everyone. Nice to be here with you. And I have to say, it's just a sweet reunion. It's nice to be with you even as we enter this space together. And for all of you who are new to the community, welcome. We'll start with, as Anne-Marie mentioned, some soft belly breathing. So if you're not in a car driving, the rest of you, take a moment to get comfortable and check in with your body. If possible, wherever you're sitting, get your feet flat on the floor. Notice if you'd like to shift or adjust your position in any way to feel a bit more comfortable. And if it's comfortable for you, allow your eyes to close. And if not, consider a soft gaze where the eyelids are maybe 3/4 of the way down, and there's a relaxed and soft gaze towards the floor, the desk, the table, your lap, whatever is in front of you. Then turn your attention inward, unplugging from all of the places that you have had to plug into over the course of the day, so that just for a moment, you're connecting with the present moment, turning your attention inward and downward into the body. And in this process, become aware of the breath. First, if possible, just notice the state and the quality of the breath. And then, if it's appropriate, consider introducing any of the following qualities to your breath. Letting the breath feel softer or smoother, perhaps longer, perhaps deeper. And shift the physical effort of the breath to the diaphragm muscle, softening the abdomen so that we're breathing in a more relaxed way. As you are breathing, breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. As you are ready, invite gratitude in through your breath and into your being. Gratitude is thought by many to be a sister to mindfulness, not one and the same, but closely related. As you hear the word gratitude, you may have instant associative thoughts and feelings about what you're grateful for in this moment. Focus on that and allow the gratitude to course through you, from the top of your head through your entire being to where your feet are grounded below you. Consider what brought a smile to your face today. With whom did you have the opportunity to connect that warmed you from the inside out? In your mind's eye, keeping your eyes closed, what and who are in the environment around you that keep you comfortable and help you to find peace? Allow your gratitude to expand. Whatever your source of gratitude, consider how the sensations related to being grateful affect your state of being and where you're feeling it in your body, while continuing to breathe in through your nose and out through the mouth. Soft as you breathe in, belly as you breathe out. We can be grateful for this moment, this breath, and know that you can come back to dwell in gratitude anytime. When you are ready, gradually allow your awareness to shift back to this shared space, allowing your eyes to open slowly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lorraine. Okay. So let's continue. We'll take just a quick moment and kind of look at our Zoom participation guidelines. I think everybody's getting more familiar with those. Put yourself on mute, or we have you on mute. And then as we go, please, use the chat box function to share a comment. Somebody just shared their gratitude to Lorraine. If a question comes up, that will help us know what you're interested in and where we should pause. And we do have some key questions. We do want this to be a town hall. There's a lot of information to share, but we've got some key questions that we want to ask all of you and get your input, and we'll have that time today. We're also recording this. There's a lot of information. We'll share this PowerPoint and the recording, so those who weren't here today can watch it later, or you can spread the word with others and help them to see this resource. And just want to thank you again for the time at the end of a day, in the midst of a crazy intense time, for your intention from whatever your day one was in joining this collaborative to act and grow our community resilience, and all the things that will still come that we want to tell you a bit about today. So our agenda for today, we always want to root in the why. And so our objective was from the beginning and remains to grow our inner resilience by now kind of embedding and sustaining the vision that we set out for ourselves. At this point in time in our evolution, we'll talk a little bit about the things we've accomplished so far. And then in the context of this global pandemic that's unfolding and is still a mystery, just how long it's going to be with us. But we are all surely changed because of it. So in order to do that, we're going to take a quick snapshot of what we've done so far, share an invitation to you about how we're going to deliver, or how we already are starting to deliver on our mission in the light of the COVID-19 context, and then get some specific actions on ways that you can be involved as a facilitator, as a partner, as a community member. So I always find it helpful to go back and ask myself this question, like, now, what are we doing here? And why are we doing this? And I keep going back to this vision for the collaborative that we shaped and shared when we, back in July of 2018, still in the first year after the Tubbs fire, when we just started to ask people, hey, do you want to do this? And people responded positively and said, yes, we do want to develop our local capacity for long-term healing, and we want to empower lay people with this train the trainer model and build these social bonds that we know are so important. And who knew, right, that we would have more disasters to follow that just make this work that much more important. So really everything we're talking about today that we started with just continues to be true, and that's why we're doing all of this. Let's take a look at the next slide. So we wanted to do just a quick pulse check, and Griselda has a poll here, and we want to ask you, how many of you, just chime in yes or no, have you used, shared, or experienced any kind of mind-body skill, such as soft belly breathing that we did at the start of this meeting, either in an online format, at a meeting that you've been to, with friends? So just chime in, yes or no. And Griselda, you can tell us when you get results.
Yeah, so we're almost to the 29 people in the call, and only one person has not experienced a mind-body skill through an online platform or in a meeting or with friends. So that's great to see.
Great. Yeah, probably not surprising because we've got a lot of warm supporters here, but just want to use that as a mark of progress, right? That we are all engaging in this. So let's hit the next slide. So a very, very quick snapshot. We started in July 2018 asking, hey, do you want to do this? And now I guess we're approaching 2 years, but a lot of this work we did in 2019. We graduated 2 cohorts of Train the Trainer, trained about 205 people. And what follows is what we know of. These are things that have been reported. So we know that those trainers have delivered 108 workshops, reaching over 1,500 people. They've delivered 110 of the 8-week skills groups that are the core of the CMBM, Center for Mind Body Medicine model, reaching 738 people. We know more have happened that we haven't been able to track because people are just excited and busy and doing their work. And along with that, we've also started to build partnerships with a lot of different agencies and organizations in the community, with Burbank Housing, delivering workshops and groups there for their residents, being on the radio, Griselda and others, Shalene Lopez from St. Joseph Health on KBBF, and delivering these resilience mind-body moments on the radio with Kaiser Permanente. They have an employee engagement committee that is committed to deliver at least four skills groups through their partnerships in the community. Sonoma Land Trust doing mind-body experiences in nature at the JC, delivering them for students. And there are all of these small moments that we hear about anecdotally about people saying, hey, somebody did this at a meeting, or, oh, they brought this into my team, or, oh, is that the mind body thing that you've been talking about? And we delivered during the Kincaid fires and the evacuations. People were in the shelters delivering those. And now people are already active online immediately, jumping in to deliver skills. And so with all of that history that's been, here we are at this moment in time, 6 weeks into shelter in place. And we want to pause to ask you, what kind of needs are you observing now for this work? Both in your friends, maybe in yourself. What are you seeing, how people are responding? And if you just want to, maybe raise your hand, Griselda, you can call on people.
Yeah, and so if for those of you that don't know where that feature is, if you go where it says participants, there's a raise your hand feature at the bottom.
Or you can just gesture, physically raise your hand and we'll see you. Yeah, so Allison noting that, parents that have kids at home need support. Yeah, my heart goes out to everything that those folks are facing juggling work at home, juggling kids at home, juggling their own process. Who else?
Lorraine?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
I was just going to mention that as a result of this work and having a couple of people at Medtronic trained in this, our company, Medtronic, has a global COVID task force. And from that, there's a work stream on employee engagement. And from that, an offshoot initiative about employee well-being that Karen Mathery and I, who have been trained here locally, are on that subcommittee. And we are talking to the Center for Mind Body Medicine on Wednesday to talk about how we can tend to our employees' well-being worldwide, potentially with the practices of Center for Mind-Body Medicine and what we've learned through this collaborative and this experience. And really just taking tips from, we have people on this committee from our EAP, our Employee Assistance Program, who are reporting that our employees, the calls are increasing for support, and managers need help to support their employees as well as individuals' own well-being. We know that in this country, about 50% of households either have lost jobs or their significant other lost a job, and so it impacts their household. And there's a lot of stress associated with that, as well as homeschooling. And if you are continuing to work, whether you are or aren't, the stresses of not being a trained educator and needing to engage in that, along with keeping your own activities going. And so just a multiplier effect where now more than ever, I think this work is so relevant and needed. So, and there's a lot of notes coming in on the chat box too, just to point that out. So.
Yeah, thanks, Lorraine. Yeah, so Pam pointed out, business owners who are struggling. Would have thought they would have to deal with this uncertainty, letting go of employees, what happens with their business. Penny noting staff at nonprofit organizations, those people who are in the trenches, right, serving people who are impacted by the pandemic, so those first and second responders. Carla Denner noting support needed for children and for teens. Melissa Barnett serving the homeless community, serving families. And Penny again, first responders. And Tracy noting, Tracy Allen from Santa Rosa Community Health, needing time set aside to focus on self-care, right? It's hard. It's hard to just, we know it's a priority, we say it's a priority, and then actually making the time to do it, it can be hard in very chaotic days. And in particular, if you're in an organization that is on that front line or second line and trying to juggle a lot. So yeah, Lorraine, as you said, now more than ever. So thank you for chiming in with those responses. So we want to take a few minutes and talk about the things that we have been doing in response to COVID-19, that many of you have been doing in response to COVID-19, and then talk about where we go from here. So first, Lorraine, it's fitting that you wove gratitude into your soft belly mindfulness for us. We wanted to start with some gratitude and recognize all of this is happening because of all of you and because of our visionary funders who stepped up to make this program possible. And they've been happy and interested in continuing the work of the collaborative, and specifically Kaiser Permanente, even pre-COVID, reached out and invited us to apply for an additional grant to expand the funding to support this kind of next stage of work in spreading and embedding. It's not just about doing the trainer work, it takes a lot more. And they said that they want to help with that. And also the Community Foundation of Sonoma County, immediately as COVID-19 came about, they reached out and invited us to apply for another grant to support specifically this COVID-19 response and what has become socoresilience.org, which we're going to talk more about today. And then also I want to shout out to St. Joseph Health. In December, they were also able to give us a small sponsorship to advance the work through their partner and employee pathways. And also gratitude to all of you, as I mentioned before, who are stepping up and investing your time and your talent to make this possible. So what have we done? Not surprisingly, a lot of you trained facilitators really kind of jumped in with both feet very quickly. We have what we called an emergency response pillar that activated, and they've been focused on creating pathways so that we would be ready in situations like this. Although COVID-19 set whole new parameters for us, we were thinking about fire and earthquake type environments. And so they started to reach out to many people. There are organizations specifically who've been very active. I have a shout out here to Dana Valley at West County Community Health. They have been just exemplary in their staff who are in the trenches, and also now spreading it to their patients, and there are others. I can't list them all. CPI, if any of you, Maria Rivera, you're on the call. And then individual facilitators. We've seen you on Facebook. Some of you we hear about later who are offering groups, doing things, little mindfulness moments, delivering groups like Melissa Barnett, Maria Dalia, delivering groups with the Healdsburg schools. And then our partners, CMBN, they've been doing the important work that they needed to do. Working online was a new environment for them. So they started setting some online standards, starting to develop some tools and guidelines, and they are ready to help us do even more to learn about how to translate our skills to this setting. And then of course our backbone, my friend and colleague Griselda and myself, doing the knitting and the weaving and trying to prioritize and coordinate and respond to the grant invitations and gather meetings like this. So all that started happening, boy, within week 1. And then as we settled into kind of our sheltered in place, a number of us really started stepping back and looking at, okay, what's the need here? What do we really need to be able to do in this new environment? How do we deliver on our mission when people can't meet face to face? And that's the core and the juice of what we've done. And how can we use all you trained volunteers in a really efficient and effective way? And we also identified these 4 bullets are really these principles that we knew that we needed to follow. That social connectedness is the core. So how can we build that in the virtual space? We need to empower people to act and be able to empower themselves. We have to stay grounded in our local mission, in our audience and our experience, because we know the whole world is suffering. You know, the whole world is living through this. And many of you have connections across the US and around the world. And so we are reminding ourselves that as a Sonoma Community Resilience Collaborative, we want to do focus there. And then if it ripples out, that's fantastic. And we knew that we also needed to fill a gap. We didn't have yet a really strong public presence, a way to share our tools. We had just laid the foundation of training you all and getting you delivering groups. And we're starting to look at how can we amplify that. So many of you already know, and for those of you that don't, we created a website called socoresilience.org, and the key player in that is Pam Van Housema, who is on the steering group, now a graduate, and I'm going to toss it to her and ask her to tell you a little bit more about that site.
Hi everybody. And I'm very glad to be here to share the site with you. Many of you have already joined, and I want to thank you for that. It's not a static website, but it's an interactive platform that has its own built-in social feed. So if you think imagine having a Facebook that's only for mind-body skills and wellness and resilience for Sonoma, that's what this is. It's a website where we can share information, but we can also have dialogue with one another. There are opportunities on this website to have private conversations, because it does allow you to have direct message chats with individuals that are on the site. There's also opportunities to create what's like a Facebook group, but a circle. And that can either be a publicly accessible circle or a private circle. So there's these different layers of organization within it. There's also an events section, and this is something that we've always wanted to have, a website that really anybody in the public could go to, and like, when is the next workshop? When is the next thing that's happening with the collaborative? And so we have that there. And it also has an integrated courses platform, and that word comes with this platform. By the way, it's a platform called Mighty Networks, and it's a community building platform that is also built and designed for education, so you can teach. And so we're envisioning things like our skills groups to be almost like a course. And, you know, we could continue to get feedback if that word courses needs to change to a different word. I'm always trying to figure out if we should call that something different. And a couple of you have had dialogue with me about that. But the courses platform is where you can actually deliver content and not just have an event calendar. So, and thank you to Paco, who helped with some translation. We're trying our best to have English and Spanish language parallel on here. There's a ton of work to be done on that. Unfortunately, the platform doesn't automatically translate, although we have requested it to see if they can build that. But right now we're trying to post parallel content or unique content in both languages, and we need more help with the Spanish. Next slide. And if you've gone to the site, you may have already seen this, but you can see on the, first of all, there's an app too. You can use it, do it on your phone, a Mighty Networks app. But this is what it would look like on your computer screen. And to the far left, there's a menu, a home, discovery, members, and about. And then under that, topics, events, circles, and courses. And if you go to discovery, this is how it's laid out. It's organized in sections. We get to decide what we want to be our welcome. So we have English and Spanish, a welcome article. This kind of tells us what this is for, who we are, what we're about. And then we can decide what we want to feature at any given time. And right now, I just love it. We have these 7 videos of our trained facilitators leading in short guided experiences, meditations, and we're getting more and more of them because of the coordination we have with Dana Valley's program. But if you would like to record either just a voice or a video, we can turn that into a wonderful video experience that anybody can, on their own schedule and on their own time, get. And anybody can access it because this is a publicly accessible website, and they can use those to do their own mind body skills at home. And then every time we post something, we can tag it with a topic, and so it's kind of like organizing the content. And so if you want to look for something based on what the topic is, we've got English and Spanish parallel topics. And then also you can see there, I pointed to events. There's also just a listing of the upcoming events. So next slide. And those, remember I told you about those groups, that we have the ability to have groups. This is kind of like a next layer thing, but it's a cool feature. And I think as we develop, we'll start to see why this is a nice thing to have. But the groups make it possible for there to be dialogue and interaction between certain people with an affinity for one another. For example, we can have a circle or a group for people who are speaking in Spanish. And then everything in there will be in Spanish, and they're just having a dialogue there. We have a group that's a private group for people who are trained, the 200 people who have been trained in the program. So we can actually have, this is like under the hood, like, hey, who can help me work on this workshop, or I'm trying to reach out to somebody at this organization. Does anyone know? That's a place you can reach out to others, and so we can do our work better and stay connected. Also, I'd love for you to just brag about what you've accomplished in there. Say, hey, I just started a new 8-week group and it's going great, and feel free to share things like that in there, so we can cheer each other on and encourage one another. We also set up a healthcare professional circle and an educator support circle, thinking that those were 2 groups that really could use some support and Mind Body Schools right now. Just want you to know that you could actually create a group. Once you're a member of the site, you can create a group too, and it could be the people who you've had in your skills groups, and you want to create a group, and it doesn't necessarily have to be visible to the general public. You can make it a secret group, and then it's only visible to the people who are members of that group. So just like Facebook groups work, these are an option on our site, and we've just decided to call them circles. Okay, the next slide. And I'm excited because we've started to get some really great opportunities and resources on our site. And one of these are daily live meditations, 10-minute meditations that are being organized through Dana Valley and at West County Community Health Centers. And our volunteers are jumping on and doing the voiceovers for these. So I invite you, any of you who have gone through the program, to engage and sign up to be the voice on a day, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. If you lost track of where the sign up sheet is, just give one of us a holler and we'll get it to you. And we want diverse voices in there. Then we've got weekly drop-in workshops starting. Tomorrow night, the very first teacher Happy-ness hour we're going to be doing for teachers specifically to help them keep it together during this really hard time of delivering distance learning. Then also we've added a couple things for families, for parents specifically, and also for parents with their kids. So you can check those out, drop-in weekly workshops. And thank you to Diana Badger, who I know is on the call today. She's the first one who is piloting now using that courses platform to promote and manage a private 8-week skills group. And this has just been started to be promoted, and we're looking for 7 to 10 parents to sign up for this wellness 8-week session. Just 1 hour a week we're going to try, because 2 hours is a long time on a Zoom call, especially for a parent with small children at home. So we're going to try it for 1 hour during nap time, 2 o'clock on Thursdays. So thank you.
Yeah, so that's a quick run through. So we wanted to take a few minutes and just ask all of you, how do you see this working in your sector, in your community, whether that's the people you serve, the people with whom you work, the people you love and cherish and have fun with. Now that you see this, it's a private online community. How can you put it to work? What ideas are coming up in your mind?
And we do have a few that were dropped into the chat box. There's a question, but before I get to the question, Debbie, well, 2 questions. Debbie also asked if she can share with her groups in Napa. And then Penny asked, can you talk a little bit more about the traffic coming into the site and how you're promoting it?
You're teeing us up, Penny. Let's take 1 more minute. We're going to talk about that next, but other ideas that people are coming up with. Pam mentioned Diana Badger doing her group. Who else? Somebody reached out to me today, Daniele. So really, if you're thinking about doing some online workshops or groups, how could you use it in the platform? Anybody want to chime in?
I can share one of the things that I've kind of been thinking about a lot, and that's I'm in a parent group, and just bringing the parents onto this site, because I know that sometimes, being my parent myself, I can say, yeah, I'll be there at 2, but realistically, is my toddler's running my life, and I might not be there at 2. So I can use some of the recorded content.
Okay. Great, thanks, Griselda. All right, well, let's keep going since Penny teaches.
I had reached out to my 8-week skills group when COVID came down and locked us all in. And this was while we were just starting to put the site together. And they said to me, like, can we just have a video recording or an audio recording of a 5-minute or 10-minute breathing? So I can just do that when I want to. And I'm like, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And I honestly think if we could have them for short, like 5-minute ones, and have 15-minute ones, and different voices, male voices and Spanish voices and elderly and young, I think that we could reach a lot of people and they find their favorite one, and it'd be something they could use on a regular basis.
Yeah, Thanks, Pam. And a couple of other people are joining in. Dawn Capewell, yeah, pointing out she wants to hold a follow-up group for the first Mind Body group that she led with veterans. Yes, right? They can come to this site, they can get recorded tools, you can connect with them through this site using this kind of learning and community capacity that's here. Same thing, Debbie from Napa pointing out the same thing. She's done workshops, these are follow-up things. So let's charge forward and talk about this is where we're at, right? So this has all of these benefits. This is built by you, it's for you. It can have that local social connection, can be a follow-up. It can be a pathway for promoting and hosting online events. It can also could be a supporting tool for when we're able to be back together in person, like those groups you've already led, and create a way for people to keep following up. So we just started this, building this, I would say, about 4 weeks ago. So now this is the ta-da moment where we're actually, you can see the content that we've been able to build there. And now we're really inviting you to help us spread the word. So coincidentally, it is also Mental Health Awareness Month in May. And I don't know about you, but we've been hearing a lot. Pam's had the experience, I've had the experience of more people starting to talk about the need to acknowledge what's happening, right? So the immediate phase is we're just trying to survive and figure out, do I have enough toilet paper and how do I make bread and teach my children? And now it's like, oh my gosh, you know, what's going on? And so we're using this, that we've gotten where we are, and Mental Health Awareness Month as a kind of a launching platform. I want your help spreading the word. And while you do that, we want to stay mindful while we're engaging and recognize that we all have different capacity, and it can vary from day to day. Some days even hour to hour, and we honor that and want you to do what you can. When you can, we want you to ask for what you need as well, right? It's important for you to support yourself, to get support for your loved ones, and you can ask. That's what a community is about. We're here to help you. So what to do now? If you haven't yet, join the community, right, at socoresilience.org. I want to point out that the site, the way Pam has built it, it's public, so people don't have to join. They can just go and explore and access all the content. But if you join, we see you and kind of have a better sense of who's there. And now you can invite others to go to the site as well. We're ready. We have enough content there, so spread the word. You can sign up to attend an event, or you can go listen to one of those recordings. And I would say, you know, put these in your calendar. That was the difference maker for me. If I knew that Dana Valley was doing a 15-minute dance party meditation in the afternoon, I have those on my calendar. And every once in a while, because of that, I'm able to actually make it to them. If you're a grad, you can help facilitate one of these events. So we have some of these scheduled, and now we need to fill the slots. So we have a signup.com site, or you can just ping Pam or me or Griselda online through the site, through the chat room now, and let us know that you're ready. You want to record something, you want to facilitate a live session. And then you can also start posting things, and you don't have to be a graduate to do that, right? Just like in Facebook, we're sharing our thoughts, our resilience tips, some quotes, some stories, but grounding in this kind of mind-body medicine skills and building our local community. So those are some quick things that you can do. And to make that more specific for facilitators, click on the next slide, Griselda. Okay. A list for you, and I want to call out a few of them. You can sign up to host something we've already scheduled. You may want to schedule a follow-up for people you've already worked with, right? think about doing that through this hub now. That's how we're going to get people drawn in. You still use a Zoom platform, but scheduling it through SoCo Resilience helps us build this kind of backbone and glue. Another key thing is number 7, I want to encourage people to apply to be a moderator. So we know that we're doing a lot of work now, and there are a lot of demands on people, and some people have had their work and financial situations change, and building this online community takes a little bit of an extra lift. And thanks to the Community Foundation grant, we were able to craft a stipended moderator role where people commit to being there regularly, doing some activities, and to recognize that and help with some financial need. We have stipends available if those are helpful. And want to re-emphasize that if you need support, we are here for you, right? Our job is helping you to do this work. So if you have an idea or just feel like you want to do something, ping us and we will hook you up with whatever you need, whether it's to record something, to figure out how to use the site, how to apply to be a moderator, whatever, just let us know. And we know that some of you are already doing stuff, so tell us when you're doing it. And then for you friends and community members, right, we encourage you to go to the site, try out a recorded experience or a live experience. Like I mentioned, put it on your calendar. Some of us live by the calendar, and we know that that helps us get stuff done. Engage in those discussions that are happening online, or post a question. Bring it. The key thing here, I think, is number 3, is think about how could you bring this into your work team. Lorraine shared a great example, right? Or to a group of friends, if Griselda mentioning the moms group that she's in, right? Or others of you are in groups, a book club, and you know that people are struggling or would benefit from something like this, or you think that it's something valuable for our community. Let's think about how we can use this site, invite them here, and we can maybe schedule some specific drop-in workshop or something like that for those folks. And then also just partnering with us. We've got a variety of examples, and I put down just one here, Sonoma County Office of Education. So we knew that there were some real priority audiences, and families and kiddos and teachers, along with healthcare providers, and then our Spanish-speaking community members were just right at the top, and people that we knew we could reach quickly. Not that others don't also have need, but we knew that we could reach them through this group. And so we were having conversations with SCO, and that teacher happiness hour that Pam now has scheduled is a part of that work. So if you can think of organizations or communities that we can work with, where we can get a toehold and schedule something specific, let's do that. And then all of this it's shareable. So anything that is on SoCo Resilience, we can share it to Facebook, to Instagram, to LinkedIn. And so you can also, if you spend time on Facebook or Instagram, you can follow us on those sites, and we'll be posting the events, and you can just pick them up and share them. We want it to be easy for you. What have we got next? Okay. So community is built together, right? This is by us, it's for us, it's for our families, it's for our neighbors, for our friends, for our coworkers, and we all do it together, right? We can't do this without you. So hope you will join us. Thank you for all that you're already doing. And let's see, I'm noticing some of the comments here, and I think we have a final closing question. Is that right, Griselda? Yeah, so your questions and observations, or what do you need to make this happen? And we can look at some of the comments here, or those of you can raise your hand if you want to chime in live. So people wanting to learn more about the groups. Yes, Carly, you can post the bingo game on the SoCo Resilience Collaborative site.
There's a question about the dance party meetings and where they should be listed, where they would be listed, and they would be under events on our hub. And if they're not there already, we'll add them.
I strongly recommend the dance parties. I found that for me, processing, having that afternoon active meditation where you can just shake and dance with some other people and listen to some lively music and loosen up has been super helpful. So I hope we can schedule more of them.
There was a question, and I'll read it because it's a little bit targeted towards the facilitators. I'd like to see a little more Sonoma specific, perhaps occasional references to local areas. There are so many wonderful mind-body resources online already. How do we offer resources specific to our community? It could help our community feel more connected.
Agreed. Yeah, and I think as we build the tools, like the recorded things, one of the add-ons, right, we're learning as we do this together is trying to emphasize having people introduce themselves, right? So saying, hi, I'm Sylvia Dolce. I'm a trained facilitator. I live in Petaluma, and I also do X, right? So making those recordings more site-specific. We also have a section in there called Resilient Stories, right? And articles. So again, this is you. We know each one of you has a resilient story, and or people who have great resilient stories. And if we can capture those and share those, and we can, we're looking at having some interns this summer, or maybe it's something the moderators can do to help gather those quick little stories. Doesn't have to be long. We're not writing term papers here. Yep, Pam's going like short, right? Just a few words that will help build in the local flavor. And the more you all show up with your presences, putting your personal profile on there. Okay.
And we do need some Spanish recordings, so I'm just going to put a shout out for any bilingual grads that we have on the call. Maria Dalia asked if she could post a loteria game, which is Mexican bingo, of course.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and Pam is pointing out, you can invite people to join the site through the site. And that's a great way to do it. And if you do it from a circle, so Tracy Allen, I happen to have your picture in front of me. If you want to invite some of your healthcare peers to join the site and enjoy some of these tools, if you do that through the circle, through the healthcare professional circle, they automatically become a member of the overall site. But being invited to join that circle may be the trigger that makes it that much more specific for them and interesting for them to join the site. It's not something general. They think, oh yeah, I want to connect with other healthcare professionals, right? Or the educators or the families. So we can talk more. Pam had done some office hours, and if we need to, we can schedule some more. You can just reach out to her where you can do some specific brainstorming or walking through any information or crafting next steps on things that you want to do.
A question that came in is, can you invite people to join a circle that they are not part of? So if they're not part of the educator circle, can they still invite educator friends?
I think so, because it's an open circle, but we just have to try it. And I just was going to add that, you know what, you guys are creative. If you're already in this project, you're creative and resourceful, and we're going to try a lot of things. And guess what? Some of them aren't going to work, but we can't be scared, so let's just try them. And that's how I've mostly been figuring things out. And again, I wanted to thank people like Diana Badger, who is willing to let's figure out this course's problem. Oops, we made a mistake. Let's fix it. It's okay. It's better that we're trying to do something and reach more people. And it might not be 100% perfect, but it's going to be, I feel pretty good that it's going to be good quality stuff. So.
And Penny up here mentioned that she would love to share this with over 700 employees at Redwood Credit Union. That would be great. So yes, please invite them on.
Yeah, it'd be good. But I just want to say that does put a little bit of a higher priority. We need our trained facilitators to engage. And there's probably going to end up being a core of really dedicated people on there. But and it would be great it would be really great to have a few people who are interested in that moderator role, which, what did we say, Griselda? How many hours a week would that probably be?
It would be 3 to 5 hours a week, and it's a combination of different responsibilities that you would have. If you did not receive that email, or skipped it or didn't see it, because I know we've been receiving a lot of emails, I will go ahead and send it out again. And I know Anne Marie mentioned that she would also be posting it on the collaborative page, and we'll also include it on the resilience hub that we have now. A question that I see here is, what about our locals, our social service providers and other local nonprofits? One of the things that I do want to urge you all to do, right, is take that step, build a circle. If you don't see a circle that's in there already, create it, build it, and invite people that are in your community, right, to join with you and start having those conversations.
Yeah, and I wanted to circle back to, Penny's willingness to carry this forward to Redwood Credit Union. And right, they were so, I always think about how responsive that team was during the 2017 fires and that follow on. And right, great examples. These are community members and they need our help, and they're working with community members in the branches. They're suffering when they're not there with each other and with their customers who come into the branches. And this is a great example. Who are a couple of facilitators who are willing to partner with us and Redwood Credit Union to meet that need, right? So we could create a Redwood Credit Union circle, or where there's teacher happiness hours, maybe there could be a banking breather. Whatever, we can get creative, and that can be scheduled and really targeted for that Redwood Credit Union family, and to have a couple of facilitators who are willing to say, I'll do that, right? I'll be the one who will show up to do, banker breathing or whatever it is that we come up with.
The other thing I wanted to mention is, I know, I'm in the same boat as most of you. It's such a big commitment. It really is, to volunteer time to lead an 8-week skills group. It's a lot of heart, it's a lot of energy, and it's time. And the interesting thing about some of the things on the site, not all of them, but some of them, they could be one-time investments of 30 minutes. So you may feel compelled and called to own the Redwood Credit Union group. But you may say, like, I have one Tuesday in June for 30 minutes, and that's what I can give. So you have to gauge how much you have capacity to help, but we even need those little helps. Or if you want to join, if you were in the children's track and you want to help lead the family exhale, I've got 3 Mondays coming up, 30 minutes each, and I have no one yet to lead them. And I'm going to just do them myself unless somebody steps up. So spare the children, and so they don't have to always be listening to me. And join the fun. It should be fun.
Thanks, Pam, for pointing that out. That's a great reminder. Really, you can scale this to what is manageable for you. And a woman that I used to work with many years ago used to joke and always say that she was trying to boil the ocean with a curling iron. And at times it can feel like that, right? There's so much need and so much opportunity and so many ideas. And we all get excited and want to deliver, and know that we just need to take the next step that's right for us, and see how that feels. And then we can see what we have capacity for to do next. So great. I see some other questions coming in. Yep, about the guidelines online. Yes, we'll do that. And one other thing we haven't talked about is we're keen to schedule some more sessions for peer support, right? Where Gerald from CMBM has expressed her desire to show up and help deliver some sessions for us online. And all of you trained facilitators, maybe you're willing to practice a skill and convene a group, so we can be supporting each other as well, right? It's that caring for the caregiver. So I want to be making that happen as well. Okay.
A question about the sign up for recording, submitting an article. Where can that be found?
Message Pam.
They've
just
been all posted in the closed circle for trained facilitators. So if you're a member of the site, but you maybe didn't sign on to be in that closed circle. Also, but if you want to write an article and post it, that's a type of post that you can make if you go up to like your home page and you say you want to post something. There's a choice. You could choose post an article, post a video, post a this, post a that. So you could just go ahead and create one. We have it quite open at the moment. If things get crazy and out of hand, we may change that, but right at the moment you could do it, and I'm happy to one-on-one help you.
Kim Caldaway is wondering, so the YMCA allowed us to host a skills group and have reached out once again. Would love some ideas on what's working and what has the community gravitated to.
Okay, and maybe Kim, we can follow up too one-on-one. You know, I think the high level would be letting them know that if there's some key people you're working with, you can invite them to the site now, and maybe have a short conversation with them and point out some of the recorded tools that they could share with people. They could join some of the live things that are already scheduled, or we can schedule something for you or with you, right? Specifically with the YMCA. Would love to support that partnership. So I know we're getting to be at 6:15, and I want to honor people's time. And if we have any final questions, we'll capture these and we can follow up with people. And my mouse died while I was on this, so I'm completely reliant on other people navigating the technology.
Diana wanted to share something.
Oh, great. Thanks, Diana.
Oh, I just wanted to add, because I know Pam mentioned that 2 hours is a long time to do a meeting on Zoom, and I just thought I'd mention that I did do 4 online 2-hour sessions with the seniors at the session I was doing prior to COVID, and we transferred to Zoom. And just this past weekend, I did a follow-up like reunion gathering with a previous group that had been people working at the living room, staff and volunteers, who I had done an 8-week group with, and we've done 2 follow-ups, one at my house and one on Zoom. And I just think it really does work because we get engaged in the shares in the same way that we get engaged in person. So 2 hours doesn't seem endless. We take a break. And so for those that are comfortable with Zoom, I really think it can work.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that, Diana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Debbie says it would be great to have a Zoom training with the panel of facilitators, yeah, who've been doing the workshops online. Yeah, I think that would be great. Diana, maybe we could schedule a little session with you where we could do some Q&A and share your best practices.
Yeah,
that would be fantastic. I know, Maria Dalia, you shared that you've been doing groups up in Healdsburg with the schools. You and Melissa had been charging forward, doing a lot of stuff with students there. So maybe you could be on that as well. Great.
Yeah, sure. I will be happy to participate in.
Wonderful.
And I can support you, but you can also just propose it. You don't have to wait for me. If you want to put it on there and say, hey, who wants to join and pick a date, you're empowered to do that. But
Thank you, Paula.
If folks need help with marketing or imagery or, flyers or things like that, you can reach out to me too, and I can lend some help if you need it.
Of course, likewise, if you need assistance with translation, let me know.
Thank you. I do need that.
Thanks, Daya. And I'm not sure.
Can I just say, if there's things that are relevant and needed in the Latino community that needs to just be culturally specific, just post it, because there may be things that don't need to be cross-posted in both languages. So we want to have everyone need what's appropriate.
Got it. Thank you so much. That's very thoughtful.
Yeah.
Thanks, Daya. So we'll be following up with people and also working on really getting the word out, right? So for you trained facilitators, invite people to the site, right? Invite the people who already have that foundation because they've worked with you, right? We're working in ripples. And then think about who else, right? And we're going to be creating some more materials, be doing some posts, put out a press release, but all of it's dependent on continuing to build your activity, your presence, the events and offerings and tools that are available on the site. So it's really a dynamic community. Caitlin Childs from the Community Foundation, their communications manager, chimed in earlier and to me on email and said she's eager to help us promote this site as well. So we'll partner with her, and I'm confident with May being Mental Health Awareness Month and with where we are now in our processing of this experience, that we'll get a good response. And so I'm excited to see what we can all, I'm really impressed and grateful and excited about what we've already all accomplished together, and excited still for the things that will still come ahead. So appropriately, this is the end of this particular town hall, but really another beginning in terms of where we go from here. So, and it looks like, so I've seen some back and forth about the CMBM, the Zoom guidelines, and I think getting something scheduled so facilitators can get that training. That'll be a great next step for folks, okay, among other things. And Sophia has joined us as well. Great. All right. Well, we'll say good night. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Take care.
Have a great evening. We'll talk more.
Okay.
Thank
Bye.
Take care.